Looking forward to little Florida State, North Carolina. Woo! Can they not play that game? It's at the Dean Smith Center, as it's also known. 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock on a Saturday, sort of sleepy, but not sleepy enough. I wanted this game either to tip at 10 p.m. on Nickelodeon or 9 a.m. on, like, MTV Classic. Just somewhere. Nobody needs to see this game played. Florida State's going to lose by 100.
Leonard's going to cut your brakes, man.
What do you want me to do? They suck. There's no getting around that. What do you want me to do? He knows they suck. And I got more bad news. Polite's out, probably for the year. Oh, okay. Well, just get in line, everybody. This is unreal what's happened with Florida State. I mean, some of it is absolutely, unavoidable. There's nothing you can do about it. It's you can't be mad at anybody. You can shake your fist at the universe and get angry about the fact that, you're missing at various points in the season, like 3, 4, 5 starters. I mean, Jesus, what are you supposed to do? It's dumb.
There's no amount of Rain-X that would clear this storm off the windshield.
I mean, what are you going to do?
Nothing you can do.
And I said it yesterday, Tom, and I don't know. I think people, it's so easy to say from afar, and I don't want to make excuses because they've not done a good job this year. I think they've tried to press some buttons that didn't work out, and then it's a perfect storm to some degree, losing what they lost, relying on some younger guys, then losing the heart and soul of the team. Like you could lose a guy. I mean, God forbid Wyatt Wilkes had to miss half the year, but no, players that can play are the ones that get hurt. So, and I'm not wishing injury on Wyatt Wilkes.
There you go.
I'm just saying, if it happened, whatever. But, damn it, guys you need, Malik Osborne and others, go down like that, and then you're just effed. And it's frustrating because then you have to force these other guys into roles that they're not ready for or capable of. And then I think more than anything, once the precipitous drop-off occurred, I believe that you begin to lose confidence and you get guys that start pressing, and then your mind's not right, man. And I know you should shake that and be a competitor and buck up and play. And we say that from afar, but when things fall off a cliff, we've seen it time and again. We all know what that is like when the vibe, for lack of a better term, around the team, let alone the skill or the lack thereof, or the numbers begin to fall. It's just hard to remain as intensely focused as you need to win in this league, even a bad version of this league. It's hard. And so I think it's all come together, and this is what we got.
And the tough part is that even when times were really good, this is the only building where I feel like bad things just, they would always happen at the Dean Smith Center. Like,
I was like, what?
No, just up there in North Carolina, like not as much as Cameron Indoor. We go to Cameron Indoor, we don't always win there, hardly do. But no. I feel like you have a better fight on your hands. It just seems that bad things happen even when we were at the peak of our powers. If we make this particular road trip, and now this couldn't have happened, 6 weeks ago on the schedule. Could have been in the midst of that.
Like when we were in the middle of a win streak,
6-game winning streak has to be now. Of course it does. Of course it does.
This is why I say, Tom, the game is going to be hideous, and this is why I don't want to watch it. It's not just a perfect storm of, hey, we've got personnel issues. We're in the midst of a losing streak. We just lost at home to Pitt. Jesus. It's not just that. It's that North Carolina is desperately fighting to make the tournament themselves, which in many ways, heads up, everybody, for as angry as you might be at Florida State, what's going on at North Carolina? Good Christ. They get better players than everybody in the country every year, and we're struggling to get in?
See what happens when players have to go to class? It's amazing.
So, but back to the point here. We don't, you're correct, play well there. We're 4-19 all time on the road there. 4-19. And prior to the Dean Dome at the Carmichael Auditorium that I once talked to you about.
You remember? Carmichael.
Yeah, I do. And it made me laugh. I remember, I just thought about it today when I was going through the preview, and I was like, oh my God, that's right. We brought this up before. So the Carmichael Auditorium, we were 0-for, never to be seen again. We cannot win a game there. We're 0-3 and will be forevermore. So there it is. Anyhow, point is we're not good, and they're desperate. I was looking at Lenardi's thing today for what it's worth. He's got them as last 4 in. They're barely hanging on, North Carolina is. So we're undermanned, especially at center, and they actually have one.
It just occurred to me this week that he would be awesome to play the Penguin in a Batman movie.
Come on.
Lenardi.
Oh.
Joe Lenardi looks like the Penguin.
He does. I always thought the Penguin was the sorriest of the villains, by the way. It's ridiculous.
Well, outside of the 60s show.
Yeah.
Where you have weird guys.
Burgess Meredith.
Like the Eggman. Oh, no, just like weird villains like the Eggman. And everything was an egg pun. Exactly, Batman.
Oh, God.
But yeah, that was Burgess Meredith.
I thought so.
Yeah.
Love me some Burgess Meredith. Love him.
He makes grumpy old men. He takes it to another level.
Oh, no, he's great. And everything he was ever in, he's great. But I don't know, man. I haven't said what I just said to start the show in a long time. Because I'm not easily discouraged when it comes to Florida State basketball, partly because they've done such a good job of bowing up and being tough mentally and physically. Part of their transformation as a program was certainly anchored in that kind of toughness that we all admired. Like we talked initially when they were beginning to rise, that one of the things that was fun to follow and why you and I went to those games at the TLC and why I constantly talked about them before they had even reached a level of consistency that we know them for these past 5 years, was that they were eminently likable. They fought like hell. They got after you defensively. I mean, that's how they stamped themselves, right? The junkyard dog. I mean, that whole thing, we thought, okay, listen, they're going to give you effort. They're committed. I mean, they're committed to Ham and the staff and the way of doing things. We never have to worry about guys getting in trouble or anything like that. Like there was just a lot of things to like about those guys, and they played really hard. Even when they were outmatched, they played really hard. If you didn't bring it against Florida State, you were going to lose. So I'm not so when they weren't good, but they were fighting and they were trying to, for lack of a better term, to steal from the football team, when they were trying to climb, you were like, okay, I can go for this ride. All right, I'm with you. You're not great. We're going to lose to the better teams in this league, but you're fighting your ass off, and I admire that, and I love Ham, and okay. And then they got skill. Then they started to infuse skill, and you're like, okay, here we go. Now they've got that mentality. They're tough. They fight. They've created culture. They've got a burgeoning fan base that's buying in, and now they're bringing in skill.
They make baskets.
Right. Yeah. All of a sudden, they started making shots. You're like, and they were playing fast. They were fun to watch. And you started going, okay, here we go. Here we go. This is a throwback year to when none of that was happening, when it was a listless atmosphere where you'd go to the game and it was sparsely attended, and you'd look around and you're like, God, dog it, this is just not what we do. Can we get a program of note around here? And that's what Ham built. And so this feels like the days of yore where you're just like wandering out in the desert. There's nothing, there's no reason. And either because of injury or because of all of the other circumstances that I've talked about, this just feels like we're playing out the string, and we're playing out the string poorly. It's like there's not 51 points against Pitt. I mean, I forgive people if they say that's it, that's all. I can't endure anymore. So on a Wednesday night at 9:00, you rolled your ass over to the TLC hanging on to a thread. I mean, I'm going to try. They're going to get a win. Let's go over there and support this team. They've really had a tough go of it this year. Let's see what happens. And they lose that game, and they score 51 points, 20 and a half. 20. Like children. I mean, it's just, I was like, okay, I forgive all of our fans. Just do whatever, go ride your bikes, whatever you're going to do. I can't even, this stupid thing, I can't even do that.
That was a good character, too. It's dead already.
Dead.
There it is.
That's all that is.
Just lifeless thuds.
Yep. I don't even think the beep beep wants us. You guys take it on down the road. Have your losing season without me. That's what
people say.
That's what the beep beep is saying.
Oh, that's what the beep beep says. Okay.
Yeah, beep beep's like, I don't want you.
Beep beep.
Don't want you. You guys aren't good enough to make the beep beep. Do they even have that thing anymore?
The CBI?
Whatever that hell that was.
COVID might have killed it.
Or lack of interest. I mean,
somebody was making money on it.
I guess. I just mean, I'm curious. I'm curious. So there's your preview. There you go, everybody. Loosey-goosey Libations Friday, fun edition. Now that we got that out of the way, let's talk some football. And I got a funny story. You got to have a backbone. You got to have nerves of steel. You got to have a willingness to go through it, to endure, to know that for all those good weeks and great runs, there are going to be bitterly disappointing moments if you choose to engage in the sporting life the way that I do. And last night at 4:00 in the morning, I became aware.
You stayed up till 4?
No. Oh. I went to bed at 10-ish.
What sport were you watching? The Olympics?
No. 10:50. I was asleep by 10:30. But me being me, an insomniac, I woke up. Now, hey, listen, 4 is I'm okay. Thank you, sleep gods. You gave me till 4. Sometimes it's 3:15. Sometimes I told you I had the game where I guessed by the shade of the moon. And I will.
How'd you do?
Oh no, I missed this one completely because I 4 is late. If I'm going to wake up and guess time, it's generally in the neighborhood between 3:14 and 3:24. Pretty specific. If it's before 3:14, it's a dreadful peek out the drapes where I'm laying there and I'm like, oh, it's not late at all. It could be like 2.
I just took a nap.
Yeah, this is not good. This is like a 2-hour respite and I'm wide awake. It's like 1:38. This is not good. But 4 confuses me as well because then I'm like, oh, well, I don't know. This is definitely not 3:20. This is a crapshoot. This could be 2:30 or 5:15. And that's where I'm hoping the latter, right? And so then I look and it was 4. But I became once again reminded of what a ride it is if you engage, if you decide that, hey, you know what? Volume betting's the way to go. But occasionally, it can hurt you. It can hurt you. And I had a fun moment last night. I laughed. I chuckled. But I'll explain that in a second. Then we'll look at the Super Bowl. Plus, I've got some fun props for today. Lee Sterling, as I said before, going to join us later in the program. Jeff Cameron, Show 93.3, Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Hi, Taco.
Hey, Jeff. How you doing? Pull up a pillow. Haven't seen you in a couple of days. Hey, something's different about you.
That's right. My people took me to Tally Spay, the affordable spay and neuter clinic on West Tennessee.
Tally Spay? Isn't that the place where they...
Yeah, they're a low-cost, high-volume spay-neuter clinic.
So you're saying you've had some work done?
I did. You'd think I'd be depressed, but truth is, I don't even miss them. If anything, I feel more calm. I don't feel like I have to run around looking for company, and my people can leave me alone with the couch cushions.
Hey, I can stop anytime I want.
Tally Spay, a low-cost, high-volume spay-neuter clinic open to the public, serving Tallahassee and the surrounding areas. Tally Spay. For more information and to schedule a same-day surgery and pickup, go to tallyspay.com. That's tallyspay.com.
Harry knows cool. He's keeping you comfortable.
This is Kyle, Service Manager from Burrow Heating and Air. Schedule an appointment from your mobile device to learn about our Total Comfort Service Program. With guaranteed same-day service, 15% off necessary repairs, and $25 berry books to use towards air filters and other products. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Burrow Heating and Air. Any day, anytime, anywhere. Online at barrowac.com.
Florida license CAC 1816-186.
Tallulah CBD and Juice Bar on Market Street and in Bannerman Crossings has all your Valentine's Day flowers and chocolates. But I'm not talking about red roses in heart-shaped boxes. Shop for the newest Delta 8 vape and flower products, plus Delta 8 chocolates for just $3.99. CBD massage oils, CBD bath bombs, and a selection of enhancing products to really feel the love this Valentine's Day. Come see the ladies at Tallulah for everything you need to love your Valentine.
Hi, this is Justin Colvin, founder of the Medicare Help Desk. I routinely speak to seniors who are overwhelmed by the multitude of coverage options available to them. That's why I created the Medicare Help Desk radio show. Tune in every Sunday at 11:30 a.m. where I provide clear answers to all your questions about Medicare. applications, onboarding, payroll, termination. Business owners and managers, you know these are the processes that take away too much time from what you do best. But what if there was a locally owned, responsive solution that would charge you a fraction of the big national payroll companies? Sound too good to be true? It's not. North Florida Payroll Services is Tallahassee owned for nearly 15 years. And in that time, their prices have never changed. The reason North Florida Payroll Services can do that? Exceptional customer service that constantly evolves with the latest technology. From application to termination, for turnkey service for your payroll and HR services, trust a Tallahassee expert and save yourself time and money. North Florida Payroll Services. Online at northfloridapayroll.com.
Hi, I'm Jeff, founder of Which Superior Sandwiches, and I'm here to tell you about our signature witch, the Wicked. Why call it the Wicked? Some say it's wicked tasty, some say it's wicked large. One thing's for sure, with oven-roasted turkey, ham, pepperoni, roast beef, and bacon, as well as your choice of 3 cheeses, it definitely takes you from wicked hungry to wicked happy in just a few wicked good bites. Only at Which Superior Sandwiches.
On Wednesday, the Wicked is just $5. 5 meats, 3 cheeses, $5.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
Our story here, it's much more important for me to note. Good guy and great player, and he's been on the Jeff Cameron Show a couple times before. It's been a while. It's been a minute. I should reach out to him. But congratulations goes out to Florida State's own Leroy Butler, of course, the inventor of the Lambeau Leap. And that is always cool. And it's also fun to note, if you're a younger member of our audience, you should go back and look at the highlight reel that was tweeted out by FSU Football and just really go on YouTube and find the highlight reel for Leroy Butler. He was a great player, an All-American here at Florida State, had a more than a decade-long career in the NFL. This is well-earned. He was a tremendous player, and his versatility for a guy in the defensive backfield to be as physical as he was and to tackle the way that he did in the run game, even at the pro level, well, especially at the pro level, that guy was sort of a do-it-all player in the secondary at a time where not a lot of people wanted to come up and tackle. Not a lot of people did. And he's just, you can go back and look at some of the records at Florida State where he was so good. 9 interceptions in his career at Florida State. He forced fumbles, he tackled, he covered. He had a 109-yard interception return, which is a record in 1989 against Syracuse, by the way, Tom. He also had, the punt Ruski's famous, as I mentioned before, for a lot of reasons. But, you play in 181 NFL football games. You start 165 of them. That's doing some things.
Yeah, that's where I remember him. I remember having to be educated that he, in fact, went to Florida State as an FSU fan because of the NFC Central and the Buccaneers fandom that we both share. I just remember those Green Bay teams forever. It was the same cast of characters, whether it was Leroy Butler in the NFL, Gilbert Brown, Robert Brooks, Dorsey Levens,
good old
Bill
Dorsey
Schrader,
Levens.
Of course, Brett Favre. But he was one of those players that was set it and forget it. He's always on that list when they announce the starters.
Just a great player. I recently heard Mark Schlereth tell a story when
good for you. You made it to the end of the story.
It wasn't a bad story. It was actually a good one. He was talking about Leroy Butler. He was talking about when they were getting ready to play Denver in the Super Bowl. And he said that everything that Green Bay did defensively stemmed from the versatility of Leroy Butler. And he said, so when we were watching film and putting together our offensive game plan and thinking about how we were going to attack it via the run, it had to do with the way that they played the run with him, walking him up. And the blocking scheme, he said basically he would either bail or he would crash. And he said a lot of teams tried to get to the second level with him, and we treated him like he was a linebacker. And he was saying the blocking scheme, he goes, that week in practice, we looked at it and said, he's not a safety, he's not a corner, he's a linebacker because he'll tackle. And he's really, he's not afraid of running backs. So we're going to treat him like a linebacker, and we're going to count him that way, and we're going to protect that way. And so I just thought it was really cool because as he was telling that story, it took us inside of a team meeting before a Super Bowl, and he's highlighting a Nole for his greatness and his versatility. And I just thought, that's cool to mention that in passing. And it's so weird because I just heard that story 10 days ago, and then Butler is announced into the Hall of Fame. He's Florida State's 5th Pro Football Hall of Fame selection. You guys know the other ones, but just in case, real quick, Fred Biletnikoff, who we mentioned yesterday on the show, actually, Deion Sanders, Derek Brooks, of course, who we also mentioned, and Walter Jones, who we also mentioned. So we're just having these conversations yesterday, day before, whatever it was, and now we're going to add another one to the list, which is always great.
It's good. I like when overdue things get the check mark, and that was overdue. Maybe Mickey Andrews' statue will be someday soon. You could check that off the list.
Name a street, something?
Anything.
Yeah, a little
Anything
something.
at all.
Just like, yeah, while he's here.
Right.
Yeah.
Time is of the essence.
Yeah. Come on, let's go.
Yeah.
Mickey Andrews' way is waiting on us, like right there.
That's cool. Mickey Andrews' way.
Yes, I've always thought that's what you do right there.
And then, kind of like on the shoulder of that street, there's just all kinds of expletives and quotes from his days on the practice field. And you're just like, wow, you can relive Mickey's coaching style.
No shortage of former players who were on the wrong end of those insults who would gleefully tell you about them with a smile on their face and regale you with the stories behind it as you gone ahead and made the plaques. Yeah, that would be ideal. I wish we could do an uncensored podcast in which the defensive players that felt the wrath of one Mickey Andrews over the years could come on without fear of reprisal, right? And without fear of besmirching or perhaps painting a dark picture of who Mickey Andrews was. There was a time where that kind of coaching was commonplace, first of all, and it was most effective, and I had a coach like this, and I loved him. It was most effective and only effective, frankly, if the one who spewed the vitriol and the colorful descriptors about your game or what you did or did not do on a particular play was also somebody you knew loved you dearly. And if you had that, then you could take anything that they had to say.
Boy, the only way that you could train for that podcast, to listen to that podcast, would be to go grab like the Aristocrats. The documentary on the joke, The Aristocrats.
Yeah, which is a great documentary. But I mean, it was their words. I mean, it used to be. Wait
a minute. There's a rocking chair. I see it.
No,
I see a lawn and I see a rocking chair.
No. I'm not gonna get mad. I'm just saying it's funny because no, listen. I mean, we've come a long way. There's some things that you shouldn't say, but a lot of the stuff that he would say is more crude than insensitive.
Yeah.
More crude than insensitive.
Crude with a capital C.
Oh, without question. It'd be like they're standing there on the tee box with you and me, playing some golf.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I even think we would get uncomfortable if that's what was going on the tee box.
I don't know. I mean, you've heard some things. So have like the neighbors and the people on the courses.
Yeah, the people of a certain course in North Tallahassee have heard. They're like, oh, he's out there again.
Yeah, there he is. All right. Must have he pulled that one. I think he pulled that one. A little frustration behind what was just said right there. That's always good. I think actually we're just going to plow right ahead here, and I was going to break, but we're not going to break. We're going to talk to Lee Sterling. We're going to have some fun with these numbers, and we're going to get it on. Here we go. I believe we do. We have them there. Paramount Sports and Lee Sterling joins us on the Jeff Cameron Show. Hello, good sir. How are you, brother?
I'm good. Actually, I got COVID 3 weeks ago, so if my voice
get it together, Lee. Jesus.
Yeah. Did you get it too?
No, I'm messing with you. I was just saying, you're going to preface us by telling us that your voice isn't as strong as it should be because you had COVID, and I was giving you a hard time.
It's crazy. So I really had the only real effects that I had of it were the symptoms were the first night I had chills for 30 minutes and I had a fever in the middle of the night for 2 hours. Since then, like almost nothing except for my voice.
Well, good.
Yeah.
Good. That's good to hear.
You know what? I took one for the team. I went to the Miami Florida State game almost 3 weeks ago, and that's where I got it. And
well, that had to be a special day for you, Lee. You got to go to the game and watch the loss while getting COVID. Oh, what a day! What? Oh, my friend. So we have done this together on the Super Bowl, and of course, season after season. I think like 18 years, 20 years now. Yeah. This is always fun. And we've watched an explosion of the kinds of prop bets you can make over the years. It used to be, coin toss, the anthem length and stuff like that. I mean, there are like 150, 200 different bets you can make now. It's incredible.
No, 680.
Is that right?
680. And they're expecting, how about this? They're expecting 7.1, not million, billion dollars to bet on the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So my daughter, my youngest, lives in New York City. She was telling me, so she went to a sports bar for lunch last Saturday, and she said, Dad, all these kids do in the sports bar, they got their phone. It's legal 2 weeks ago in New York City.
You're damn right.
All they're doing is they're betting games.
Oh, it's a beautiful thing.
She goes, I love sports, but she goes, my boyfriend, he doesn't take his eyes off the screen.
Well, he's got his priorities right while watching a game. I mean, I do have to say this. I read a story in the Washington Post recently that, the Nationals stadium, if they actually play baseball this year, they've got a permanent sports book in the stadium now.
They also have it in their basketball arena.
Yeah, what a great time to be alive, Lee.
We need it to be legal. I mean,
of course.
It was for a little bit with not legal, but the Hard Rock was doing it.
I had the app. I was kicking ass on the Hard Rock, and then politics, and now we're waiting. It'll work out. It's going to happen. Florida doesn't want to lose out on the billions of dollars they could be making. So at some point they'll get this rectified. They need to do it with the quickness. All right. So of the 680 plus prop bets that are out there for us to make, what do you like?
Okay, so we always start off with my daughter's Super Bowl prediction on the national anthem. She's won 7 straight.
Yep.
And
Lee, let me interrupt you because I want people to understand the backstory. They may be new to the show. Lee's daughter is basically a professional singer. She is incredible, has sung the national anthem countless times at actual big games and arenas everywhere. And so she is an expert on this very subject about the length of the national anthem based on who's singing it and where it is and all that. She's 7 for the last 7. Let's get this year's prediction.
Okay, so here's what she said. Are you familiar with Mickey Guyton?
No.
Singing it?
No.
Okay. I had heard of her name. I couldn't pick her out of a lineup. She's a black country artist.
Okay. Rare.
And, she actually she grew up in Arlington, Texas, a suburb of Dallas.
Right.
And here's her story. She grew up and became an artist, recording artist, because she watched Leanne Rimes sing the national anthem at a Texas Rangers game when she was younger. And she has sang it twice, and that you can find on any national anthem anywhere, like on Google or or YouTube. She did it in 1 minute and 24 and 1 minute and 27 seconds, but she did it on a quick track in both instances. And my daughter explained she was rushing through it. She was cutting phrases short to stay along with the music. She thinks she can really hold these notes big time. She's well trained. My daughter says amazing pipes, vocal control. Now, the history of the national anthem with the Super Bowl, they have allowed it to really go on. In fact, the last 9 years, 7 of the last 9 have gone over 2 minutes. The other 2 went over the posted total on this one here at 1 minute and 35 seconds. So this is her passion. This is what inspires her. They're not going to rush it. And my daughter thinks she's going to nail it. She brought me in to watch both national anthems and a couple songs she sings. And I've only been to country western concerts. If she came, I would go see her. She is that incredible. Your jaw is gonna almost drop, or you will have goosebumps watching her. She's that good, in my opinion. Go over 135. Bet it right now because it's probably going to close at a minute 40, minute 45.
I love it, buddy. I love it. By the way, if you want to know the line that can be crossed when it comes to having too many bets and things where we've gone overboard, and this, you and I are both really pro gambling, obviously.
Right.
In addition to Mickey Guyton's length of the Star Spangled Banner and all that good stuff, Bet Us has odds on whether or not she'll show cleavage during the performance. It's an actual bet you can make. That is a true thing.
I could never do that.
Well, of course not. I'm just saying it's actually out there. And I was looking at all these props and I was like, really? Okay, that's a bit much for even me. What are we doing here? Yeah. Okay. Next.
Right. And you got boys too.
Yeah, I got 2 boys. Yeah.
I got 2 girls. Right. I mean, they'll do everything. I don't bet like the coin toss. I mean, they used to be minus 115 either way. I saw a couple places where we went minus 103, minus 104. So I respect that, but I'm still not going to do that. I'm not going to do the Gatorade. But here's some player props that I like. Joe Burrow over 10.5 rushing yards. Here's my thinking behind this one. In the last game, championship game, he had a 3rd and 8 and 3rd and 9. He ran for a first down.
Yes, he did. It was a huge play.
Yeah. And he knows the moment. If you thought he's going to be on his high horse running, after that game against Kansas City, think about what he's possibly going to be having to do against the Rams defensive front. So I know what it's like to be chased by some big guys. Aaron Donald, as tough as Joe Burrow is, and he played defense in high school, trust me, he's going to get out of there and run and go over 10.5 rushing yards. Matthew Stafford, 5.5 rushing yards, we're going under. Suckers play there. They're setting you up. First offensive player run. Minus 140. We're taking the run because the Rams threw the first 3 plays, the championship game, and had to punt. I think they want to establish the run. And I think Cincinnati, or when teams like to just, first time, let the linemen pop the shoulder pads, gain 3 or 4 yards, get into the game and not throw an interception on the first play, especially with the Rams. And I think that they want to make sure also that Joe Burrow doesn't have to throw the ball 45, 50 times. Run on the first play. Also like Cincinnati's Trey Hendrickson, over a half a sack. He's their only real pass rusher of note, and Matthew Stafford's not real mobile. 14 sacks during the regular season, 2.5 sacks in the playoffs. And then here's the best one. Longest field goal, over 47 yards. Both these guys can absolutely nail field goals up to 60 yards. We know the conditions will be perfect here. Let's take over 47 yards, longest field goal.
I like it. So you've got a smattering of bets here. I don't know, in your private life, do you have some fun and do like 100 of these, or do you just do these 10, like 5 to 10?
I sell 10, my top 10. I probably play 12 to 14. I had a friend one time. We go to Vegas, and he bets 37 props. He literally, Jeff, it took him about 45 minutes after the game to figure it all out. I mean, and this is a bright guy. He was so confused. He had pieces of paper, pluses and minuses, because they were minus 135 here, plus 110. He goes 20 and 17, and he's betting like, I don't know, like $150 to $300. Probably goes, I lost $630.
I love it. I love it. I love that you went with
too many wages.
My brother, enjoy the game. It's always fun to talk to you. Have fun, man.
Yeah, if they want to check us out, ParamountSports.com. We got the selection on the game up and available, plus our top 10 wagers.
Right.
UFC, pay-per-view, Saturday night, 7 selections up and available, and also hockey and basketball. Check us out, ParamountSports.com.
Hold on a second, Lee. My producer, I think, has a question. What is the funniest thing or weirdest thing that you've seen in a sports book? Because you've been in a lot of them.
There was a guy one time, I saw him. He was the first guy I saw. I was going to place a wager at the old Stardust. And I'll never forget this. Saw this guy sitting in the first seat, and I see him, and sure enough, the next 2 mornings, he was sitting in the same seat, never moved the whole time. And I asked him, I said, everything okay? And he goes, yeah, I just lost my money in the first 2 hours. So I'm stuck here for the weekend.
He's just stuck in a damn seat. Holy moly.
Just sitting in a seat. No hotel room.
I'm surprised they didn't run them out.
Weekend. It was March Madness.
Oh, my goodness. ParamountSports.com. Be good, brother.
Okay, take care.
Later, man. By the way, thank you, Marcus. Marcus was complimenting you for the Batman 1966 Eggman reference.
That's right. Yeah, Egghead apparently was the name. Life Spectator came in with a semi-correction. But yeah, there's some weird villains back in the 60s with that Batman show.
Yeah. Vincent Price's character, huh? That's interesting.
What a cool actor to have. Everybody wanted to be on that show in the day. It was huge.
I loved it. I loved all the reruns when I was a kid. I'd watch all the reruns.
I tell you that at my cousin's wedding, it was just south of Manhattan in Jersey, kind of like in Tony Soprano territory.
Mm-hmm.
That particular hotel that weekend was hosting the Comic-Con. But the people who were at it, not the tourists, but the actual talent. And it was all the Adam West cast. This is probably 10, 15 years ago of the 1960s Batman. And my dad, my uncles, my great uncles, and all the older ones, Catwoman was there. And they were all like, oh my God, it's her. Because she was something else in the 60s.
Yes.
They got to talk to her. And they tell that story all the time. Did you know I got to talk to Catwoman?
Well, you know, it would have been especially awesome if by chance later on they had both together, because Halle Berry one year was Catwoman, was she not?
She had her own standalone movie. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
No.
There's a long line of Catwoman excellence.
Yeah, there is.
And women could say the same for Batman, you know.
Yeah. The Halle Berry one is the one. That's what we're going with. That's the one.
Although Michael Keaton is the least threatening Batman.
Well, he seemed like kind of a frumpy, friendly. Yeah, you would just chit chat with him, right?
Yeah, he looks more like a kicker than he does a linebacker.
Agreed. I would have never been overly worried about. George Clooney wasn't a good Batman either.
George Clooney's Batman accent was George Clooney's voice.
Well, what's funny about that?
Alfred, get the car.
Yeah, he makes fun of himself all the time too about that. At least that's smart. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
Florida State University announced Thursday it is hiring Rhonda L. Harris as its new chief of police. Harris, who is a law enforcement veteran of 37 years, will also serve as the university's new assistant vice president for public safety when she starts in May. Harris has served as Old Dominion University's police chief since 2012. Harris started her law enforcement career in 1985 as a police officer in El Reno, Oklahoma. She has a bachelor's degree in psychology from Rutgers University, a master's degree in forensic psychology from the John Jay College of Criminal Justice, and a master's degree in public affairs and administration from Rutgers. The United Way of the Big Bend is offering free tax preparation through its volunteer income tax assistance program. Through the program, people and families with low to moderate income can meet with IRS certified volunteers who can help them prepare electronic filings. To see a complete list of locations, go to umbb.org. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at macklemoresystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. High temperatures reach up to 70 this afternoon under partly cloudy skies, winds out of the south, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Partly cloudy tonight, lows dip down to about 45. Cloudy skies with a few peaks of sun tomorrow, 71. Much cooler Sunday and Monday with highs in the upper 50s. Chance for scattered showers Sunday. This report is brought to you by The Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 67.
This is Susan Gage with good news for homeowners. If you bought a home in Leon County last year, you may qualify for homestead exemption, but you need to file by March 1st. Leon County property appraiser Akin Akinyemi says there are many ways to file.
File online, by mail, at our office.
Remember, the deadline is March 1st. Visit leonpa.org or call 850-606-6200.
You can save hundreds of dollars on your property taxes.
If you weren't the owner of Gordo's and all those wonderful restaurants, Eddie, what would you be doing?
You know, I think I'd want to be I don't know what I'd want to be, a boat captain or a cowboy.
You know how to use a lasso?
No.
You'd have to do that if you were a cowboy.
Yeah, but I've never even been on a horse. It's not my place to be on a horse.
I agree. And the horse thanks you. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
It's Congressman Michael Waltz on the Greg Tish Show.
Good morning, Congressman. How are you doing?
Hey, doing well.
Again, just what you have to go through day in and day out. I don't know how you have hair left, or like Matty Rowe, just completely bald.
Hey!
Sorry.
And the irony of it all, the progressives are the tail wagging the dog. This whole bipartisan White House is a joke. We're just watching them eat their own.
The Greg Tish Show, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., only on Real Talk 93.3. The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
I'm not a big superhero guy. In fact, I loathe it. I've seen, my fair share. It was Julie Newmar.
That's what the chat says. I feel like it was more of a.
Well, I always thought Eartha Kitt.
Yeah, it was Julie Newmar.
Back in the day was she had that sexy raspy voice, and I enjoyed that. In her prime. So I mentioned this before.
Well, no. You know what? To clarify, sorry. So Julie Newmar played the first 2 seasons. Mm-hmm. Then it was Lee Merriweather and Eartha Kitt. So,
Eartha Kitt's mine is the one that I always thought it was.
I'll text my dad, see if he answers.
Find out if it was Eartha Kitt, because that's solid. Now.
Well, my mom, my aunts, all of them were all like, guys.
Yeah, get it together. Please.
Well,
it's like.
But it's like a post-wedding, so you're already, you've been served. And they're like, oh my God, please come over here. And she did.
That's kind of, she's used to that, right?
Oh, for 50 years, 60 years, yeah.
That's, dealing with. Oh, my goodness gracious. I would tell you that the original, I think if you go all the way back, was it her? Well, we're doing too much for this. I want to say this. So if you guys, I want to apologize to the guys on Twitter because we broke a cardinal rule, and I'm not superstitious at all, but I was on a roll this week. I mean, I'm 7-1, 8-1, something like that between the end of the show bets, the college sportsbook bets. We're putting them all together. I was on a heater. And some folks on Twitter noted it, which is great because I want more people to jump on board the college sportsbook and have fun, and truthfully. So I gave 2 yesterday, and I often because I tend to, pick 2 to 5 on any given day. Today I just have 1. But I, if the action's sparse, then it is. But I was like, okay, these 2, I like these 2, feel good about these. But I don't stay up. I don't always stay up. I'm not up at 1 o'clock in the morning watching a West Coast game. I don't care that much. I mean, I'm going to wake up and find out. So I was telling you that my eyes open, but I never got to the crux of the point, which is to say that I have a very understanding wife, and also this is comical. And it just so happens that it's my anniversary. So happy anniversary to my wife. I woke up last night, 4 o'clock in the morning, rolled over. She's asleep. I checked my phone to see the time. And as I'm doing so, I decide, I'm awake enough to let's look at some scores. And I've done that before. And, you either had a very quiet little fist pump or a disappointing sigh or something along those lines. So I looked at the 2 games that I gave yesterday, and this is where I say you have to have a toughness to you if you're going to be a sporting guy or gal. I lost both by the hook. Both, not one, but both games by a half a point.
They call that a double hooker.
I gave out Oregon minus 8.5. They won by 8. And then I had a total on the other game, and I was a half point under or over. I can't remember what it was. I was a half point off on both. To lose 2 games in a wager by a collective 1. That's tough to do. That's like the Mets losing to the Nationals 1-0 and being outscored. What was it like?
So they scored 2 runs for the 3-game series.
The Nats did.
The Nats did.
And won the series.
And they won the series 2 games to 1. Yeah. There's only one way that can happen. Only one way.
So I was laying there when it's 4 a.m, so you're double taking, you're doing the math in your head. I was just looking at scores, so I'm like, real quick, 70 and 75, 145, and I'm like doing that very quickly. And I said under my breath, as I was putting the phone back down, something I can't say on the air. I whispered MF, and that's all I said to myself.
Mary Frances?
Mary Frances. And put the phone down. My wife must have known or seen that I was checking my phone. And this is how you know that, we've been married a long time, and she definitely knows me. I could have been looking at anything. I could have been looking at an email that I forgot, some work I got to do, whatever, She just whispers because she's not facing me. She's looking the other way. She's laying the other way. She goes, "Lost your wagers?" and I said, "I did." And then I said, "By a half point." She doesn't care if it's 20 or a half point, but the profound nature of that she doesn't understand. And so then she just kind of patted me on the leg, and we went back to sleep.
So is she a light sleeper?
We both are. We're old, Tom.
Yeah. Well,
is that how it works? This is how it works, buddy. You'll be welcoming it to the club soon enough.
Jamie already is.
Yeah.
And we've got the mattress that you could really drop the bowling ball in half and you wouldn't feel it. Doesn't matter. Any little, of just a shuffle, and she starts moving around. I'm like, oh, man.
Well, the other morning I was laying there, and I said, because my wife got up at like 3:50 to go get a glass of water, and she opened the door, and we need to WD-40 the little connector, and it infuriated me, and because it was casually, I was like, "Oh, come on, man, lift up on the door. There's a trick to this. You got to pull up on the door, or we can get some WD-40."
One more time, please.
I'm so annoyed. I'm still frustrated. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio and Warchant TV. Yes.
I got one thing for you. My dad texted immediately.
Eartha Kitt.
It was Lee Merriweather, and this is there's Lee Merriweather on the screen on the chat.
Okay.
That's
For those days.
Right. I mean, it's 1966.
For those days. Eartha Kitt's the one.
Yeah.
Jeff Cameron Show.
T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark Construction.com. We conquer all peaks. We fix those darn leaks. Call 850-766-1340. T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark Construction.com.
License number CCC 1331204.
Are you stumped on who to call for fast and affordable crane and tree service? Deep South Tree Service is a cut above the rest. They go out on a limb for their customers. With the largest crane in the Big Bend area, no job is too tall, no job is too small. Call Rob for a free quote today. 850-877-TREE. That's 877-8733. Deep South Tree Service. Our roots run deep.
Stuck in an expensive timeshare contract and feel like there's no way out?
I'm almost at $10,000 in 4 years. I've never traveled anywhere.
They made this sound that this would be a really good deal, that I could go anywhere, anytime I wanted to. That never worked out.
I'm Chuck McDowell, CEO of Wesley Financial Group. I've helped thousands of people get rid of their timeshares. I know all the tricks because I'm embarrassed to say I once worked in the timeshare industry. We've saved suffering timeshare owners millions in debt and maintenance fees. When you're approved as a client, I guarantee you a 100% success rate. We'll get you out of your timeshare, eliminate your payments, and get them off of your back permanently.
I honestly would recommend that you call Wesley Financial. They will help you.
Call Wesley Financial Group now for your free information kit. If they can't get you out of your timeshare, you'll pay nothing. Call 800-600-9595. 800-600-9595. That's 800-600-9595.
The all-new Smitty's Tap House and Grill is now open. Smitty's reflects a deep appreciation for fine craft beers and tasty bar treats, with family recipes handcrafted by Smitty himself. Try the house-made giant pretzels, made from scratch mozzarella sticks, and some of the best cheesesteaks you've ever had. We're not even scratching the surface on what Smitty's Tap House and Grill has to offer, so be sure to visit Smitty'sTapHouse.com to check out the full menu. Smitty's Tap House and Grill on Thomasville Road, just north of Cary Forest Parkway.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus, happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas wall, featuring 560 inches of flat screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Cameron Show brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
About Joe Burrow and the unlikely path to being the guy that he is now in the Super Bowl. If you think about this, Tom, I know it's a short segment, but in 2015, Joe Burrow was ranked by 247 Sports as the nation's 280th best prospect and 8th best dual threat quarterback. Kyler Murray was number 1 amongst the dual threat quarterbacks that year. Jarrett Stidham was number 2. Number 6 was Juwan Jennings. Tennessee turned him into a receiver. So Burrow was behind some dudes, obviously. And he is from Athens, Ohio, small town, southeastern part of the state. Dad is a coach, all that stuff, right? So he goes to Ohio State, 75 miles away from where he grew up. He redshirts as a freshman. Sophomore, junior season, he backs up JT Burnett. And as a fourth year junior, he's behind Dwayne Haskins. So frustrated, but already graduated. He says, I'm a ride. I'm not dealing with this. So if you think about it, Haskins finished second in the 2018 Heisman Trophy voting. Murray wins the award. Burrow goes to LSU, was considering going to Cincinnati. It came down to a last-second decision.
They might have made the playoff earlier.
He decided to go to LSU. And that first year, we all know he was good, but nothing special. They went 10-3. It was they were all right. They did beat Auburn. They did beat Georgia that year, and then eventually they beat Central Florida. But he was 65th in passing efficiency. He was well behind the likes of, say, Tua. Nobody was looking at Joe Burrow in any way. He also was well behind like the likes of Jake Fromm and others, at least in terms of perception of what he was going to be. So he chooses to stay in Baton Rouge for a 5th college season. And in doing so, the legend of Joe Burrow is born. I just say that because, look, I know there are outliers and he is likely one of them, but you're a 5th-year senior who has been a backup for the vast majority of your life. You were considering going to Cincinnati. You were pedestrian in the 1 year you do get to start, and you end up becoming and having one of the greatest seasons in the history of the sport. And now you're on the brink of winning a Super Bowl off of a devastating leg injury and a 10-7 season. And you are widely considered to be now probably a top 3 quarterback in the league.
Not too dissimilar an origin story to a certain guy in New England for all those years.
It's crazy, man. Really crazy. Hour number 2, forthcoming. Stay with.
Coming up next, more than the Jeff Cameron Show, live and local on Real Talk 93.3, WVFT, Greta, Tallahassee.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. Ontario's premier has declared a state of emergency in reaction to the truck blockades in Ottawa and at the U.S. border. He says he will urgently press for new legislation cracking down on those who interfere with the free flow of goods and people. Hundreds of truck drivers have bottled up the Ambassador Bridge that connects Canada to Detroit and have paralyzed downtown Ottawa. After initially saying the West was exaggerating the threat of a Russian invasion of their country, Ukrainians are now ringing the alarm.
The country's Foreign Minister, Dmytro Kuleba, is concerned, like the US, about the growing number of Russian troops on the border. He, too, says he's seen intelligence, and that's new, that there are a growing number of Russian troops. Today is the second day of these joint exercises to the north, involving an estimated 30,000 Russian troops in Belarus.
BBC correspondent James Waterhouse reporting. Also at townhall.com, numerous police officers in Phoenix have been shot. That's after responding to a report of gunfire inside a home. Phoenix Police Sergeant Andy Williams says that after the officer who was first on the scene was shot, other officers were shot after a man walked out of the house with a baby.
The suspect opened fire on the officers again, striking 4 officers and also striking 4 other officers, so 8 in total, 4 directly with gunfire and 4 indirectly with ricochet or shrapnel, bullet shrapnel.
The suspect was found dead inside following a barricade situation, and a woman at the home was critically injured. The baby was unharmed. Stock sharply lower. The Dow is off 429 points. The Nasdaq down 315. More at townhall.com.
Your pets have the same energy they used to? Do they have problems with itching, scratching, a dull coat, or goopy ears? Then your pets need Dinovite.
DINOVITE.com.
For over 20 years, pet owners have trusted Dinovite to supplement their pet's diet.
We started Dinovite, and in our first stock, we noticed a difference.
Dinovite is an all-natural daily supplement made from whole foods that help support your pet's immune system, digestion, skin, and coat.
Within 3 weeks, he's not scratching and itching, and he's an all-around happier dog.
Today's commercial pet foods are processed at high temperatures, which bakes out all the essential goodness. These processed foods can lack the essential vitamins, enzymes, and probiotics that contribute to overall good health. Adding a scoop of Dinovite to your pet's food bowl is the answer.
If you love your pets as much as I do, you'll want to do what's best for them to live long, healthy, happy lives. I have 2 cats and 2 dogs. All 4 of them are on the Dinovite.
You won't believe how happy your dog will be.
DINOVITE.com.
If you weren't the owner of Gordo's and all those wonderful restaurants, Eddie, what would you be doing?
You know, I think I'd want to be I don't know what I'd want to be, a boat captain or a cowboy.
You know how to use a lasso?
No.
You'd have to do that if you were a cowboy.
Yeah, but I've never even been on a horse. It's not my place to be on a horse.
I agree. And the horse thanks you. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996. We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Broadcasting live from Florida's capital city, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
when you just look at the two teams, I mean, I don't know if you feel this way, but I mean, we've all been won over. The Joe Burrow story's cool. The Bengals are a kind of a fun team to root for a lot of reasons. But if I'm just looking at the two teams, it feels like the Rams should stomp the Bengals. The Rams should stomp Cincinnati. This should not be a very good football game. Just talking about personnel for personnel, quality of depth, everything. This shouldn't be much of a game. And yet, I think we would agree, probably going to be a pretty good game. It's a one-game one-off, and if you're a team with an elite quarterback, an elite wide receiver, and a whole lot of get you some, a whole lot of we are not afraid to play from behind, we don't get shook, we're never scared, you can knock our quarterback down 150 times, doesn't matter, we're going to keep fighting, we've done it all year long, we did it in these playoffs, we had no business beating Tennessee after our quarterback got sacked 9 times, we had no business getting blown out, getting their doors blown off against Kansas City, who has arguably the best personnel in football. I mean, they couldn't block him all that well. Now, they got the ball out of Joe's hands quickly, so he wasn't sacked 9 times. But they weren't exactly protecting him all day long to develop the long routes that they burned Kansas City on a few weeks prior. They weren't getting those big plays from Jamar Chase. None of that was happening. They couldn't stop Kansas City to save their life, and yet they come all the way back in that game. We don't believe they're going to be able to block the Rams, and yet, I don't know. I think they'll be in it in the fourth quarter. Well, it's just bizarre.
It's weird to say this about a team that's in the Super Bowl, but I feel like the Rams are a group that on paper are way more than what you see on the field. I don't know that they've maximized what the
You mean
depth
Cincinnati
chart.
or the Rams?
No, the Rams. I don't feel like the Rams, unless I said Cincinnati by accident.
No. I was just trying to, because I think the Cincinnati Bengals can be described the same way well, go ahead.
Well, I'd say, okay, if you put the Rams on Madden, for example, with all the players and the individual skill, their rating is higher than what you see on the field quality-wise week for week. They struggle with way too many pedestrian teams, do the Los Angeles Rams.
Yeah.
Teams that they're much better than or have a distinct advantage against in a given matchup, week, whatever. They find a way to make games interesting that shouldn't be, because if you just look on paper at all that talent, you'd say academic. It's them and maybe Green Bay as the most talented teams in the NFC when healthy this year. Tampa would be in the conversation if they were healthy, but you get my point. Is like they're not a team that runs away and hides and dominates. They play a lot of close games, and sometimes you feel like, how is this a close game? And it's just that's the way the Rams have played it. So that's why I wouldn't be shocked. Like, part of it is the mystique of Joe Burrow and the fearlessness of that bench. That Cincinnati bench has seen a lot in these last 3-4 weeks. But the Rams they let you hang around.
Yeah, they do. If you go back through their season, now they played right out the gates a terrible Bears team that they blew out, and that would be indicative of both their seasons. But then from there, they have a 3-point win over the Colts. They beat us by 10. They get beat down by the Cardinals. They play a close game against the god-awful Seahawks team. That's a 9-point game. They do beat down the sorry-ass Giants, but they played a relatively close game against the Lions. That's less than a 10-point win. They played a decently competitive game against a bad Texans team. They get beaten soundly by the Titans. They get beat by San Francisco by 21. They lose to Green Bay on the road by 8. They lose. Then they pound the Jags. Sorry, ass. But they play a close game against the Cardinals. Then they have the 10-point win over the Seahawks in the rematch. It was not a great, They win by 7 over the Vikings, who are not a good team. You're right. They win by 1 over the Ravens, who are not a good team. They get beat this time again by the 49ers.
With a 17-0 lead.
Yeah. So you're right. They're not a team that runs away and hides.
There hasn't been the exclamation point performance. Now, I would argue that Stafford's performance in Tampa was really good. Matthew Stafford, that changes the dynamic of what they are, but you're always worried that the shoe is going to drop for him as well, and you're going to see bad Stafford that puts points up on the board for the opposition. And if that happens in this game, it gets really interesting really fast. I think it's advantage Cincinnati. I don't know that this game, the margin is that wide, that if Stafford plays poorly, that they could still eke it out. I don't think so.
No, I think he has to play well. I mean, I obviously turnovers in big games are huge to do. So yeah, I would.
And his score points. They're not dead ball turnovers in basketball. It's a breakaway dunk.
I don't think he'll play poorly. I think when he's protected, and I think he got through that little slump there in the middle of the year where he was playing poorly, and I don't know what was going on with that.
A couple of pick six runs in December as well.
But there was an article that came out at that time that I read in the Los Angeles Times where they alluded to, and it made sense to me because he started the year playing very well. And you remember he played very well against us when we went to LA to play them, that he was playing dinged, that there was something wrong with his shoulder. And I believe that because when he's had protection and they've run the ball, he's played really well. I mean, obviously, look at the season Cooper Kupp's had.
He's also hurt a lot. Now, a lot of that is being in Detroit for over a decade.
Because he's tough. He is tough.
And he'll play through it.
He'll play through injury. I like him.
I have got nothing against Matt Stafford. I like with McVay, I almost call the fraudulent goat card a little bit more and the overhyped card than I would Stafford. Stafford's been in a terrible situation for the entirety of his career. It would be an excellent story, a real feel-good story if he could cash it in this short window of opportunity with what he has left in his career. He gets to go to a new location and he does it all. That'd be amazing for him.
Well, now you're alluding to something that I think actually could play a role and could be interesting. And that is one of the storylines of this Super Bowl is that one team ought to be playing footloose and fancy free with no expectations. Now, you can't say zero expectations. You're in a Super Bowl. And the NFL's history is wrought with players that early in their career had opportunities to win Super Bowls and played at a very high level in which people thought, well, they'll be back. They'll be back. They'll get that chance. And they never did. Dan Marino being chief amongst them. I mean, right out the gates, he plays in a Super Bowl. He is otherworldly good. And everybody assumed, oh, well, he'll get a chance to win the Super Bowl again. No, he won't. So there's always that pressure that once you get there, and it's hard as hell to get there. Just ask Kansas City. It's hard as hell to get to the Super Bowl. And you do feel the weight of that, the magnitude of that, I would think. I think it's unavoidable. That said, if you're a 10-7 team that won, what did I tell you last week? They won 4 games last year? You could not have come into this season feeling anything other than let's try to take a step forward. Let's hope we can make the playoffs. Obviously, Joe Burrow said in the preseason, which is part of his lore, that the quickest way to get to the playoffs is win the division. And he kind of winked and smiled, and they did. But the Rams are the ones who anteed up. The Rams gave away every draft pick, every foreseeable draft pick of the future, and maxed out through free agency the cap. If they don't win, this is an overwhelming failure. They will be considered the biggest losers of the bunch because they gave it all. They are going to suck to high heaven for years to come. They had better win on Sunday.
Yeah, that's going to be the interesting thing about football in that market, too, is, the Chargers are going to be the toast of the town in about 5 years. Nobody can see it right now because nobody goes to Chargers games in Chargers clothes. They're always the away fans.
Yeah.
But that's going to change in LA because the Rams are the hot topic right now. But, I mean, we've already seen this fail for the NFL in LA, in that city.
Multiple times.
Rams games are going to be sparse soon.
Although that stadium is unbelievable. But yes, I agree. And they're also old. I mean, the Rams ponied up for a lot of old guys who are on the back end of their deal, at the back end of their careers. I mean, some of them are not, obviously, but I mean, they got to win. They have to win. This is what they did all of it for, and I don't blame them. I've never blamed them. I've thought, you've got this.
We did the same thing last year.
Yeah, you've got this window. I think the Rams did it to a greater extent. I mean, the Bucs have some guys, some residual guys that are going to be good for a while. I mean, they've drafted well. They didn't build through free agency. The Bucs have built through the draft. The Rams went out and got a bunch of guys, and they had better hope they win. Whereas we think the Bengals are only going to get better because they have so many holes to fill, which is why you don't believe it should be a good game. Like, they have got to get better on that offensive line. They could be a much better defense. Statistically speaking, their defense is not very good. Now, there are elements of the defense that I like a lot, and they have some good players. But they have a lot of areas to improve. They're just fortunate that they have one area solidified for, presumably, the next 10 to 15 years, and that is at quarterback.
Which is interesting because in listening to some of the people on Radio Row this week out there in LA, like the Brown family, the Bengals ownership group, is the worst in sports, is the worst in the NFL by far. So within the circles, they're known as the cheapest group. And so there are people who are NFL lifers, be it, former GMs or scouts or players, that say you should kind of be rooting against the Bengals because they shouldn't be rewarded, this ownership group, for running a ridiculously bad organization. But the thing is, it doesn't matter now because it's a destination place. If you're a free agent, you want to go play with that guy. If you're a free agent tackle or guard and they need one, I'm going to go play with Joe Burrow because my star is going to be on the rise within, 10 games. People are going to know my name. They never knew my name before.
You've got to give them some credit for the first time in maybe our lifetime. Well, I mean, I'm older than you, and I can remember when they went to the Super Bowl. But that said, they did eschew the conventional wisdom on draft day. I mean, they did say, no, we're going to go get Jamar Chase. You can tell us that we need to get an offensive line, and you can scold us as they were scolded on draft day for going out and getting a receiver. And they're like, no, we know we have the man at quarterback, and we're going to go get him an elite weapon, and we're going to score a lot of points on people. And they did, and it's worked.
It has been asked in the chat, what are you going to get for Joe Burrow for Valentine's Day?
Well,
the space heater is here.
I already slid into his DMs.
Oh, well.
And wished him luck.
That's aggressive. Well, early bird.
Yeah.
The 11th.
Slid
on your wedding anniversary,
yeah,
no less.
Yep.
Happy anniversary.
Thank you. Yeah, slid into the DMs. I said, Joe, I'm so proud of you.
You get a hall pass from the wife for Joe Burrow?
I said, Joe, I'm so proud of you. You've emerged as a confident, strong, talented young man who is not only entertaining but uplifting in so many ways. I wish you nothing but the best. And there it is. That's all I said. I didn't cross the line. I think it's fair. Joe will get back to me. He always does. It's usually delayed.
There's more love in the air. I was told a great story during the break by Matthew that somebody pulled a Doris Burke, Kawhi Leonard this morning on television. It was
about Alex Noren's hands.
You've heard of this?
Yeah, it's an unfortunate thing. I mean, where was it if you want to see a working man's hands,
yeah,
go on the internet and look up Alex Noren.
Alex Noren's hands.
You're like, no, okay, no, not
that's not a Google search that'll
I'm not
ever.
typing that into Google.
I'm never gonna hit enter on that Google search.
I'm not typing that into Google.
If you want to see a working man's hands, look up his hands on the internet.
Mm-hmm. No, not gonna.
Man,
yeah, look at those hands. Nobody is ever gonna beat Doris Burke, though. That is my.
I mean, it's incredible. Look at his hands.
Well, I wish I could, Doris, but the man never plays anymore. He never plays basketball anymore. That does bother me. Like, how long are you going to be hurt? In a world where dudes are playing NFL football 3 weeks after they tear stuff in their quad, my man can't get on the basketball floor for like 2 years. What are we doing? Just milking him for money.
That's right. Toronto's favorite son, even when he's in LA.
Well, we have another request just because it never gets old, and we'll do it as we go to break now. Yes, we will play the Iron Eagle quote. It's an all-time quote. It will remain in the loop for Sounders on the Jeff Cameron Show for as long as we do the Jeff Cameron Show.
Got to make sure I have it in the right spot. That could be the Richard Sherman.
That's not so. Well, we got to get organized over there, Tom.
I know. We'll roll the dice on this one.
All right. It's Richard Sherman, probably.
Well, I'm the best corner in the game. When you
I knew it.
I guessed it because that's what happened last time. So that's what's going to happen this time. We're going to go to break and you're going to relabel.
Talking about you.
Damn right I am. Who is talking about you? The Crabtree.
That's the best part of the invitation is that when you do that. Yeah.
Are you watching?
He's incredulous. Furious. Try again.
I will after the break.
After the break. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV. Our friends at ISF work hard to help their clients solve the future. ISF is an integrated IT and management consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, serving clients all across the country. With the new year upon us, ISF reminds you to create a clear strategy, optimize your process, and modernize your technology to meet all your goals in 2022. For more information, visit ISF.com. That's ISF.com. ISF, solving the future.
Hi, Taco.
Hey, champ, how you doing? Pull up a pillow. Haven't seen you in a couple of days. Hey, something's different about you.
That's right. My people took me to Tally Spay, the affordable spay and neuter clinic on West Tennessee.
Tally Spay? Isn't that the place where they
Yeah, they're a low-cost, high-volume spay-neuter clinic.
So you're saying you've had some work done?
I did. You'd think I'd be depressed, but truth is, I don't even miss them. All I know is my family is much happier now that I've been altered. My people even brought Mr. Jingles to Tally Spay.
Tally Spay, a low-cost, high-volume spay-neuter clinic open to the public, serving Tallahassee and the surrounding areas.
How you feeling, Mr. Jingles? Leave me alone! Ugh, you're right, he is a lot nicer.
Go to tallyspay.com. That's tallyspay.com.
The all-new Smitty's Tap House and Grill is now open. Smitty's reflects a deep appreciation for fine craft beers and tasty bar treats, with family recipes handcrafted by Smitty himself. Try the house-made giant pretzels, made from scratch mozzarella sticks, and some of the best cheesesteak you've ever had. We're not even scratching the surface on what Smitty's Tap House and Grill has to offer, so be sure to visit Smitty'sTapHouse.com to check out the full menu. Smitty's Tap House and Grill on Thomasville Road, just north of Cary Forest Parkway.
Well, so far this month has already been a long, cold year. But nothing breaks up the cold like a cozy, warm fireplace in your home from Hearth and Patio. You may not know this, but many of today's modern, environmentally friendly indoor fireplace designs offer amazing energy efficiency. And when you get a new fireplace installed by Hearth and Patio, they will also service the equipment to make sure it lasts for years to come. Something else you may not know, Hearth and Patio can also repair your existing fireplace. I'm going to read you a recent review from a real customer. Donna says, our gas fireplace stopped working at a time when we experienced our coldest weather. I called other companies, but the earliest they could send someone out was 10 days. Then I called Hearth and Patio, and they had a technician at my house the next day. He not only was friendly, he fixed the problem and never tried to sell me something I did not need. It was so refreshing. I would not hesitate to call Hearth and Patio again. So the moral of the story is, when you need a fireplace repaired, replaced, or installed, just call Hearth and Patio at 727-4282 or find them online at hearthpatiotallahassee.com.
This is Dr. James Ryan Finn from Finn Chiropractic. The number one myth about chiropractic is you don't have to take care of your spine until it hurts. Most patients come in with symptoms, neck pain, back pain, headaches. Those are not the cause of your problem. That's the result of your problem. So unmask the cause of your problem at Finn Chiropractic through the Phenomenal Health Examination. So if you're a loved one or having neck pain, back pain, or headaches, don't mask the symptom, unmask the cause at Finn Chiropractic, because your chiropractor loves you and there's nothing you can do about it.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout, resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
Clip. Here you go.
Rob Moore, the wide receiver coach, has been blown away by Crabtree's hands and his ability to suck in these balls.
Children. Never gets old. Never gets old.
It's always good.
Just sitting there incredulous. So here's something that should make you smile beyond that, and it's this hope that we all have. There's reason to project a minimum number of flags in this game. Now, first of all, they're inclined to not want to throw a bunch of flags in the Super Bowl anyhow. They typically try to avoid that.
I'm bracing for who the official is.
The Bengals and Rams committed the fewest and third fewest penalties, respectively, during the regular season. Did you know that?
No.
I did not. In 6 postseason games, the teams have been flagged a total of 30 times. Referee Ron Torbert's regular season crew threw the 4th fewest flags of any crew in football. and his mixed crew threw 10 flags in the divisional round game between the 49ers and Packers. However, referees are mostly responsible for roughing the passer and offensive holding calls, and Torbert finished the regular season tied for 4th most roughing the passer flags and 5th most flags for offensive holding. So we'll see. The crew doesn't throw a lot of flags here. They're told not to throw a lot of flags here. They're going to be looking for holding and roughing the passer, and if he sees it, he will throw it because that is an area he highlighted.
Every referee and every crew has their own way of doing things, and whether they let things go and they're anonymous or they really like the camera and they want to make sure that they're on television like the hockey league.
Did you know that you get a ring if you referee in a Super Bowl, just like the players? Now, you don't wear their ring, their championship
like a ring alarm for your door?
No, you get a ring, a Super Bowl ring like the players get that you wear, and apparently it is something that referees covet because they wear it when they retire and get asked about it incessantly. Oh, yeah, I refereed in the Super Bowl. It's like it's the ultimate goal. Not only do they get a check, but like the weeding process for these officials to be able to get to. I will give the NFL credit for this. So there was two debacles in the postseason with officiating.
Yeah, Jerome Boger's crew. Surprise, surprise.
Well, what was pretty amazing was the second that happened, when that game ended, the NFL threw their ass under the bus with the quickness and made an official announcement that they wouldn't get any other games for the remainder of the playoffs. So they did do what the ACC refuses to do.
Yes, that's correct. And it's good because Jerome never knows the rules. Anytime there's more than a simple call to be made, Jerome has a hard time sequencing that out. There's always conversations. And then even when the announcement comes for the TV, you're like, man, I think he's just going with his gut. It was kind of like me with the Crabtree clip. I'm like, I think he's just rolling the dice here.
He's just taking a chance that this is the one.
But it also is dumb that, I get it that you want to reward individuals. Mm-hmm. But the mixed crew thing, I mean, there's a chemistry that goes along with the way you officiate a game. And there's like somebody could go rogue in this way because they don't have they're not working for the same boss, so to speak. Ron Torbert's the boss.
Right.
It's just an all-star crew for a game that matters this much. That feels like there are some gaps there.
I certainly don't understand why. I mean, I would think that if you had a crew that consistently worked together and they shined in a way that they were rated out as the highest, most consistently sound crew of any of the NFL's best, that you would just send them to the biggest game and say, guys, work together like you always have. You've done a great job all year long. Here's your grand reward. I'm not going to give you Larry from this other crew who sucks. I'm going to give you got you guys. You're good to go. Because if I were ahead of that crew that kicked ass all year long and got in that position, I'd be really angry with it. They're like, listen, Jeff, now you're going to have Tom, but we got to give you Keith too. Oh, good Christ, Keith.
Keith can never spot the ball.
Keith's killing us. I'm always careful because it's middle school, but, these are people volunteering their time. It's tough.
Uh-oh.
No.
What did you do?
I didn't do anything. I don't say a word. Tom, you know me better than that. I don't say a damn thing to anybody at these games.
I thought this is when you coached back in the day.
Oh,
like,
no. When I coached, I did yell at people. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it was egregious what went on there. But so that said, there was something the other night where this official, it was shaky. What I noticed was that the lead official also noticed that this other official was quite shaky. And I felt bad for him because I could see every time the one that was dubious made a call or went over the top that the main official was like, I mean, he literally had the look on his face of a man who was appalled by what his other official just called. And I thought about that dynamic for a second because you got to put on a brave face. You can't let the two coaches and the fans and players know that you think that person sucks as well. You can't do that. Like, you're supposed to be brothers in arms. But about the third or fourth time that this person plainly botched a call.
And did they do it with emphasis?
Oh, yeah, of course. And then they not only did it with emphasis, but they resented the pushback from the coaches and the fans in the stands who were like, what? It's a small gym at the middle school. You can hear people go, what the hell are you looking at? You can hear it. It echoes. And so it happened a few times, and I'm just sitting there going, oh, man, this is making me uncomfortable. It's a middle school basketball game. Let it go. But they were egregious. It was the worst of the year so far. And the one main guy kept cracking me up. I wanted to tell him at halftime, like, man, you are rolling your officials here. Because the third time this person did it, the main official, like, looked over, appalled, was like, what? You could see him. Like, what are you calling? What? That's like almost offended. Like he was going to override the call.
You give us a bad name in the middle school officiating ranks.
You are killing us here. Get it together. But anyhow, nonetheless, the end of the game happened, and this person, for good measure, I guess. I mean, it's a 20-point game. It's not in question. The game's over. They're running out the clock, and this person made another call to prolong the game.
What, a 3-second violation?
No, it's an insane call. It's an insane call. But the point is, it led to a technical foul because the coach got so mad. He's like, well, really, with 5 seconds, you're going to continue this nonsense? And then the person teed him up. The main official that I was talking about that was so offended by this other official jogged off the court. He left. He went to the locker room and got changed to the left. Didn't even stay.
Did he dutifully jog?
Oh, he was gone. He's like, I'm out. This is ridiculous.
There was a bounce in his step.
Oh, he's like, okay, I've seen enough. This is absurd. We're not doing this. I'm out.
Larry, if you want to inbound the ball, you inbound the ball. This game's over.
This game's over. I am out. It's 27 points. What are we doing out here? It was fantastic. All right, we got to get my mom's pick. We'll do it in a second. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
Law enforcement says a woman led Thomas Grady and Georgia State Patrol officers on a high-speed chase Thursday before the stolen car was forced to stop with a pit maneuver. Brianna Bueller, 29, was arrested Thursday afternoon on Highway 111 in Grady County by the sheriff's office after a two-county chase at speeds over 100 miles per hour. No one was injured. Bueller was charged with DUI, fleeing, and possession of a stolen car. She's being held in the Thomas County Jail. In 2 weeks, the Blueprint Intergovernmental Agency will vote on the bond financing for a $20 million allocation to FSU for infrastructure repairs to Doak Campbell Stadium. Leon County Commissioner Kristen Dozier announced at the meeting in December that she would be introducing a motion to scrap the entire deal. Dozier stated this money was supposed to go toward job creation to do things in our community that we've never had the funds to do before. FSU emphasizes the funding will be for safety issues and ADA compliance and accessibility, not luxury boxes. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. High temperatures reach up to 70 this afternoon under partly cloudy skies, winds out of the south, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Partly cloudy tonight, lows dip down to about 45. Cloudy skies with a few peaks of sun tomorrow, 71. Much cooler Sunday and Monday with highs in the upper 50s. Chance for scattered showers Sunday. This report is brought to you by The Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 67.
Highway 27 Grill and Barbecue just north of Havana have become your destination for the best food either side of the state line. But what if you want fresh seafood? Say no more. Kenny and the crew have got you covered with seafood so fresh, the only way you'll get it fresher is if you grow a set of gills. Highway 27 Grill and Barbecue, 1 mile north of the last light in Havana. Highway 27 Grill and Barbecue, open 7 days a week. Get your fill at the grill.
If you weren't the owner of Gordo's and all those wonderful restaurants, Eddie, what would you be doing?
You know, I think I'd want to be I don't know what I'd want to be, a boat captain or a cowboy.
You know how to use a lasso?
No.
You'd have to do that if you were a cowboy.
Yeah, but I've never even been on a horse. It's not my place to be on a horse.
I agree. And the horse thanks you. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Here's what you missed on the Greg Tish Show.
A woman only identified as Mrs. Wong posted on Chinese social media she had gotten locked down after a first blind date. She discovered that their date's community had gone into swift lockdown after visiting his house for a meal.
This absolutely has to become a romantic comedy. Lockdown Love. He was looking for Mrs. Right, but he found Mrs. Wong.
Lockdown. Starring Matthew McConaughey. All right.
The Greg Tish Show, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., only on Real Talk 93.3. The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
And those numbers have been true for the vast majority of this season, but it is something that you circle and say, I don't know of the disparity being so great in any game of this magnitude. Repeat that. I'm going to repeat that stat, Tom. Listen to this. Next gen stats. The Rams were first in pass rush win rate this year, and that makes sense, right? You're not shocked to hear that. The Bengals were 30th in pass block win rate. You would think.
100%. That's the pit in the stomach feeling about this game where it's 8:30 and you're going, man, guess I'm going to bed.
You would think, but they've defied the odds. Let's bring in Mama, if you want, cue it up.
And now for another edition of the Family Pick. Nick.
Go to your room! Mana, the meatloaf!
Take it away, Jeffrey.
All right, Mama, this has already been decided long ago. I ran away with this thing. It was a landslide this year. You'll have to buck up next year. But we didn't want the big game to go by without you being able to weigh in and make your pick. And you did valiantly take the underdogs and get a victory against me there late in the year when you took Cincinnati, I think, over Kansas City. Did you not?
I did.
Yeah.
I absolutely did. I'm telling you. And just to say this is a little aside. It is the year of the tiger in the Chinese New Year.
Ah, okay.
So I think that's a good omen for the Bengals because, I know they probably need all the good omens they can. I know they're definitely the underdogs, but I don't know. The only thing that worries me is with Aaron Donald and that defense with Joe, if they just don't get too far behind, I think they've got a chance to, in any game, but we'll just have to see.
Well, here's what we're going to do. I think, obviously with Cincinnati, Mom, they've come back from big deficits, but this is a much better defense than those that they have faced previous. I'm going to put you on hold and we're going to call you again because there is a clicking sound that drives me nuts and it's probably going to drive our listeners nuts and I cannot abide. I would rather quote you another stat in the midst of all of this as we recall and get this figured out because you can't be clicky on here. I got to make sure that
Clicky McClickersons.
No, it'll drive me nuts the whole time that you're talking. I couldn't believe that number though. That's a crazy, crazy number. First and 30th, 25th or worst in pass block win rate at every position. So it's not even like individuals performed well and were let down by their counterparts. No, their linemen, left tackle, left guard, center, right guard, right tackle, none of them are better than 25th in that category. How the hell do they win? It's crazy. Okay, Mom, let's try it again.
Okay.
Better.
We can't have clicky now here on my segment.
Well, it's still kind of clicky. I don't know what to tell you. We'll power through. We'll make it a quick one.
Okay.
But I do want to ask you, you're going to take the Bengals because you want them to win, right?
I am going to take the Bengals because I want them to win. And another thing that just really gets me is we could have beaten the damn Rams, and that just really upsets me. And because they are really good, and we could have beaten them, and so it just annoys me no end.
Well, I would say this, Mom. I mean, yes, in theory, we could have beat them. We rallied to tie the game in the waning moments, but in truth, that was a pretty sizable choke job that the Rams were engaged in. I mean, they were killing us that entire game until the waning, to the last quarter.
Right. I know. That's what I'm saying. So, it's possible for them them to do it again. Now, I realize that wasn't the Super Bowl, but it was to get to the Super Bowl. So, I mean, you just never know.
I'll tell you what we are going to do. Give me your score prediction, because I think one year, about 6 years ago, you nailed the score. I remember we were having fun with this. We were talking about, it was something to do where one of the years I beat you because I was closest to the score, but one of the years you nailed the score on the number. And so it's a good omen. Throw the score out there. Who you got?
Okay, well, I'm happy to do that. You remember that. Let me see here. I got to think about the score. I think it's going to be a high scorer. Let me see. I got to think about it now. You caught me off guard. Otherwise, I would have been prepared. I will say 40. Gosh.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a high score. I will say 41-35.
Bengals.
Yes.
41-35. All right. We'll put it on the
That's
big
an
board.
all-time classic.
I hope you're right. I hope we get that game.
I hope I am too. I hope that Joe can have enough time to throw the ball so that it can be high scoring. And I think like the first half of that game previously, they were not doing good at all. I mean, I thought, this is not going to go well. But then when they came back after halftime, they obviously made some adjustments and things, and they got their act together.
Well, Mom, yes, they got their act together. This is.
I know, but I'm just saying. So even if they don't do well in the first half, I'm not giving up on them.
You're just saying hang in there. That's fair. That's fair.
Right. I think people don't get too. The only good thing about them playing in the Rams and the Bucs not in it is I will not have to be a nervous wreck for the whole weekend and everything. That's the only thing about when your team's playing in a huge game. It's just stressful.
I'd rather be nervous. It's better to have your team in the Super Bowl than not, Mom. It's all right. You got to get past that. That's part of it.
I know, but it's so hard for me, But anyway, I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens in this off season.
Have you, by the way, by the way, did you see, Tom wants to know, did you see Sean McVay's dad?
Did I see Sean McVay's dad? No, I don't believe I did.
Well, they showed him about 16 times during the last Rams game. And
well, then maybe I did see him and I didn't know it. But you know how I kind of, I don't know. I watch off and on those games.
Well, my point would be that it would be revealed to you once you saw him why it is that McVay is the way he is.
Oh, see, I knew it.
Yeah.
I had a feeling. I know it. See, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. That's why you're so wonderful.
Well done, Mom. Well done. I love you. It's been a fun year. I'll talk to you later.
All right. I love you too, sweetie. Y'all have a fun Super Bowl weekend.
All right. You too.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. What the hell's going on with that connection? I can't
don't
do
know.
it. It's weird.
I tried to get her to go double or nothing with you. See if she would raise the point for double or nothing for the Super Bowl.
I can't believe she didn't note, because if she would have seen him, she'd have been like, mm-hmm.
Well, he'll be on this broadcast. I mean, yeah, so
100 times. Hopefully it's him crying.
If
weeping as he sees his son's second failure in the Super Bowl.
Ooh. That's he wouldn't be able to handle that well, just judging by the look of him.
It would be great.
So the director has made a suggestion. If she nails 41-35 and the Bengals, so she gets the score and the team right.
Got to get the team in the score.
It's a push for the year.
Oh, yeah, sure. I don't care.
Ooh,
I mean,
all right.
We would all know who really won. It doesn't matter. That's fine. Yes, we'll give her the gift of a push for the year.
The odds are against it.
Overwhelmingly so. And therefore, I hope it happens. I hope we're sitting there going, are you kidding me? It's 41-35 Bengals with 4 minutes to play.
Extra point.
That's nuts. Yeah. I don't know. I can't get past some of those. If you looked at all of the game previews, and there are a ton of them out there, but do yourself a favor and go through all those next-gen numbers, partly because of what you can bet from a prop standpoint. But, man, it is really, really hard to find a path. You really have to just be a huge believer that Joe Burrow overcomes insane odds to win this game. I mean, it really, on the surface, I think if you took these two teams and you didn't watch the games this year, and I just showed you these blind resumes, I said, Tom, here, team 1, team 2, and you just know football the way we know football, and certainly a lot of people do, and you just looked at all of these numbers, you looked at all the advanced numbers, all that stuff, you wouldn't see a path for Cincinnati to win.
Yeah, it would be similar to the way we felt about Bucks and Chiefs last year. Even with the second coming, a quarterback for Kansas City, you're looking at the trenches and you're saying, where's the sustained drive coming from? Like, short of the Bucks only scoring 20 points in our Super Bowl last year, I couldn't find a way. Now, sometimes the Rams have a clunker. So that's the only way, offensively speaking. So in a weird way, in the beginning of the week, I thought the higher scoring it goes, the more I would favor Cincinnati. Maybe it's the lower scoring the game is, the more Cincinnati has a chance.
It's also hard to find a way that Cincinnati's going to get enough stops. Okay, look, including the playoffs, Cooper Kupp of the Rams, Jamar Chase of the Bengals. Now, this is good for us as fans. They are number 1 and number 2, respectively, in receiving yards this season, making it the first time that the two teams, the top 2 in that category, can you believe this, have ever met in the Super Bowl?
No, that sounds, wow.
First time it's ever happened.
I wouldn't believe that.
That 1 and 2 receivers have met in the Super Bowl. Now, again, obviously, that you would like to say then, okay, well, maybe a shootout, because but that is a singular weapon that we're talking about there.
So there's a cool visualization.
Cincinnati.
You could guess this, but Seth Walder on Twitter, I didn't know him before yesterday, but it just went viral a little bit. He had both visualizations of all their routes for the seasons. NFL Next Gen Stats has that. You know, you kind of see how like the Romo graphic, they do that now. So he tweeted out both sets of route trees, incomplete, complete, the whole thing. And it's as you would expect, but it's just kind of cool to see that it's basically at the numbers and around the numbers, outside and in for Chase, and then everything in between the seams for Cooper Kupp. But it's just that's who they are. There are 2 ways to do it, to finish at the top. And these 2 guys couldn't be more different in that regard, but they're both incredible at what they do.
While we're on the subject, and before I forget to do it, I think my favorite prop is Jamar Chase over 5.5 receptions.
Well, that's a lot of respect for Jalen. Now, if that hits under, then Jalen had himself a nice bounce back performance after Mike Evans pants them.
They're going to force feed. They're going to force feed Jamar. I mean, they have to, and he's not afraid to catch the ball in the middle of the field. And Jalen will give up the underneath stuff intentionally.
Correct. Yeah, he'll play soft.
Yeah. So I mean, that's why I think that's got to go over. I jumped on that as soon as I saw it. That's got to go over. I think. By the way, I misled you guys, and I want this to be out there before we go to break. I think that we should actually stay away from the touchback prop. So I didn't really realize this. The higher percentage of Super Bowls the last 10 years is like 70-80% of the Super Bowls. It has not been a touchback to start the game. And I found out the reason why. There's been competing theories, but the main one is that the players who played in this game, the kickers in particular, have said that the ball that they kick off in the Super Bowl is unlike any ball that they kick at any point at any game during the year. It's because it goes to Canton. And what happens is that ball, they will not let you rough up. They don't let you squeeze it.
No deflating.
It. None of that. They won't let you rub it in the dirt or do anything with it. And so it's hard as a rock. It doesn't go anywhere. And they believe it's partly because, the NFL wants action. And also, if you're a player and you catch the opening kickoff of the Super Bowl and you're 1 yard deep in the end zone, and it's not week 4 against the Jets, but it's the Super Bowl, you're taking that thing out.
Also, in general,
you're taking that thing out.
I could see where it's a get out of your system moment for everybody.
Get hit. You want to get hit. Everybody wants to get hit. Let's get it off.
Even for the coaching staff, you're like, let's just get the juices flowing so my quarterback doesn't go out there in a sterile environment.
Yeah.
Or my defense.
They love to, most guys want to make a splash, so they're going to bring it out. And number 2, the ball does not travel. Now, the game ball, as it goes on, is very much like any other game, and guys, don't complain about it. But the opening kickoff, kickers have said, like, that thing is a rock. It is hard to kick that ball into the end zone. They want action to start the game. Kind of interesting. I wanted to get that out there because we were basing it on the regular season. The regular season numbers, people don't return kicks
Cancel your bets. Cancel your bets.
Yeah. Do yourself a favor. Unless you just like to live dangerously like myself, I'm not canceling nothing. It's the Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Leaky faucet, busted pipes, clogged toilet? M&L Plumbing is here for you. For all commercial, construction, and residential plumbing issues, call M&L Plumbing at 575-9393 or visit online at mnlplumbing.com.
Tallulah CBD and Juice Bar on Market Street and in Bannerman Crossings has all your Valentine's Day flowers and chocolates. But I'm not talking about red roses in heart-shaped boxes. Shop for the newest Delta 8 vape and flower products, plus Delta 8 chocolates for just $3.99. CBD massage oils, CBD bath bombs, and a selection of enhancing products to really feel the love this Valentine's Day. Come see the ladies at Tallulah for everything you need to love your Valentine.
At Epps Decorating Center, we're your locally owned Benjamin Moore retailer. We're your store for quality with brilliant and durable paints in a variety of sheens and thousands of colors. We're your store for service with one-on-one advice for contractors and homeowners. We're your local experts, and we're here to help with all your painting projects. Benjamin Moore, available at Epps Decorating Center with co-locations in Tallahassee. Find a store near you and visit EppsDecorating.com. That's EppsDecorating.com.
Clean, renewable energy means fresher air, healthier residents, new green jobs, and a stronger, more resilient community. How we get there is up to you. Share your input today to help shape the Tallahassee of tomorrow. Take the Clean Energy Survey at talgov.com.
When you are approaching retirement, there are a lot of questions to answer. Do you have enough money to fund your income for life? How should you claim Social Security? And what's your plan for health care and long-term care? Pete Tyson and Preservation Financial Group are here to help you preserve your retirement. The team at Preservation Financial Group can help you get organized, guide you through critical retirement decisions, and create a comprehensive income plan designed around your needs. Don't leave your retirement to chance. It's crucial to understand and address relevant risk before you retire. To schedule a free, no-obligation consultation, reach out to Pete Tyson and Preservation Financial Group today. 850-523-6118. That's 850-523-6118. Or visit them online at preservationfinancialgroup.com.
Live and living color and totally free. Subscribe to Warchant TV on YouTube, the digital home of Warchant.com. From the practice field to pregame and the phone calls afterwards, Warchant's YouTube channel is home to live programming like Seminole Headlines, Wake Up Warchant, The Jeff Cameron Show, as well as Trench Talk, a live Q&A with Noles offensive lineman Devontae Love-Taylor. Just search Warchant on YouTube and click or tap the subscribe button. That's it. It's totally free. Warchant TV on YouTube. Just another reason we're the ultimate Seminole sports source.
The Jeff Cash Show brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness, 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road, and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
Payroll and HR services, including full online applicant onboarding and integration into payroll. Save your company money and headaches today at northfloridapayroll.com.
Hey, Big Daddy, having some Red Russians tonight?
We'll know in about 47 seconds.
Into an open wing. It's picked up by Dowdy, an empty net. He scores.
Hot damn, Big Daddy's done it again. Red Russians all around, Teddy.
All right, Big Daddy.
Tom is 10-2 in his last 12 hockey bets, but he will not go for the gusto in his private life with these bets. Come on, man.
Yeah, it might be like 9-3, but yeah, it's thereabout. It's been quite the heater. I just feel like I'm due for a come down to earth moment.
Well, don't waste these opportunities. Get it over with and jump on board.
Overcome the fear.
Yeah. All right. I really enjoyed Jamar Chase. Just got done saying it, over 5.5 receptions. We both like Joe Burrow with the rushing yards. I say over. Is it 11.5 now? I think I saw.
It could be. Yeah. 10.5 is what Lee said, but it might have moved.
Yeah, I think it's moved to 11.5. I'll go over that as well. I'm going to also say I like Evan McPherson over 1.5 field goals. I think he kicks 2 field goals. So I'm going to go over on that prop as well. I didn't play a lot of props. I'm not a huge fan of it. I would say this. I do like, oddly, There's a good value in this. I think the second half is the higher scoring half. You can bet which half. There's always the feeling out process. I'll take second half as the highest scoring half at -105. That's good value. I'll do that. And then I looked at a couple of other things. Joe Mixon, who is a really nice player and doesn't get talked about enough, even though he's a piece of garbage. Over 24 receiving yards. I think they'll throw to him out of the backfield some to get it out of his hands. He'll have to run some screens, and he's good catching the ball out of the backfield.
Yeah, he's not brought up as one of those players that's from scrimmage type running back, but he is.
Yeah,
40 a game.
He's good. He's a good player.
He's valuable.
Yeah.
For me, old school pure gambling. Tails. Let's go.
You're just gonna go straight in on the tails. You're going with tails.
The Burrow rushing one, I better get on that because once we get to around 13 and 14, it's a problem because the worst thing that could happen to you is they're pinned inside their own 10-yard line before half, and the Rams are out of timeouts. So that's a kneel down. Yeah, that's -3. God forbid they win.
You've got to account for the last kneel down. By the way, that is actually a prop bet too. Is you can will the game end on a kneel down? There's also, by the way, the shortest rush for a score. And if you account for the percentages of pass interference called in the end zone, you can lean towards the 1 yard score.
Sure. Yeah. That makes total sense.
Yeah. You lean towards the 1 yard score there.
The other one, if it is in fact true that number's in the mid 40s for longest field goal, that's a smart play. I didn't find that one until Lee brought it up last hour, but I like that one a lot because, there's a couple of things going on. Both those kickers do have cannons for legs. It is indoors.
Both really good. Yep.
But then Burrow has taken some bad sacks this postseason, and McPherson's bailed him out in those situations with 48s or 52s. So I could see that. That's a good bet. Good find, Lee. I want to pull the trigger on the national anthem because it is 7 in a row, and you don't bet against the streak. I just have a hard time betting on that one because I got burned years ago.
Yeah, you did get burned.
Christina Aguilera forgot a lyric and raced through the rest. It was an easy cover.
You got screwed. She panicked.
It was like a 152. She would have gone 2 1/4.
Oh, of course. That it's a look at me effort from her. Sure. Yeah, that's a toughie, man. I hate that happens for you.
It's hard. I'm like that dog that's just staring off into space.
Lee's daughter has nailed 7 straight, though. That is impressive.
So is that enough for you?
She would know. I've never bet the anthem before because I think it's stupid. But I mean, free money's free money. So I mean,
wait a minute. We found a stupid bet.
Yeah, a lot of these are stupid.
Because of your patriotism, I think.
Well, I actually
sacrilege.
I don't care anything about that. I'm saying like the length of the song. I've never heard this woman sing. I don't know. I've never.
You got a scout.
I do, and I guess I could throw some money at it.
It's a sure thing.
No, I like to make more football related bets, such as rushing totals, receptions, scores, those kinds of things that you can kind of have a handle on. I'm much more inclined to do that. I don't. And by the way, I did look ahead at the weekend. Pay attention to College Sportsbook. I think we may have something over the weekend for a couple basketball games. Nothing that I'm prepared to go with here, but I think we may have a couple basketball.
You got a horse at the WM after seeing 27, 36 holes for some of these guys?
No, in my league here, I've got, obviously, it's funny. I had first pick this week, so I went ahead and just took John Rahm. Kind of hard to bet against John Rahm, but I took him. I don't need him to win. I just need him to be, top 10 somewhere in that area.
You see how unlikely it was that he shot a low number yesterday? That's good and bad.
It's good and bad. It's right.
Because that's your good day. You have one epic day. He just couldn't make a putt. He 3-putted on a par 5.
I saw
the back 9 yesterday.
I saw it well because he ended up way short and then had that, really tough eagle putt on 18 just to try to get it close. I wish I could 3-putt a par 5 for par, rather easily and be mad that I missed the 7-footer that I left myself.
You see the Discord in Boston played out quite well on the ice last night. My recommendation
6 to nothing you came through,
yes,
buddy.
Sir.
That was really well done. You redeemed yourself for the Edmonton pick.
I did.
By having a little insight to what the shenanigans that was going on in Boston. You were unaware of the shenanigans going on in Edmonton at the time. I don't blame you.
So the Ducks were good to me before the break that they went on for the pseudo-Olympic break that turned into an all-star break. If you're just value shopping tonight, I don't have an in on this or a storyline to give you or context, but Anaheim -150 at home over Seattle is just,
you like it.
Yeah, Seattle is awful. Anaheim is mediocre, and they can get hot at times. 150 is nothing on a straight up winner in hockey. That's a good bet.
I want to say congratulations to Director Matthew and myself, as both of us were all in on Taylor Gooch for this particular tournament, who today is telling that course to bow down as he is -7 through 16 and has vaulted into third place. All right, Gooch Golf.
Well, it's cleaner than you think, folks.
Yeah, I'm impressed. He's had a run today. Makes me happy. Hopefully he keeps it rolling.
Happy anniversary to you and to Christy.
Thank you very much, brother. I appreciate that. It'll be a peaceful evening. Should be a lot of fun. I'm going to pop the cork on some champagne here in a few hours. Should be good.
That's the way to do it.
And then we're going to have a nice dinner.
Vino Friday.
And who knows what else. Have a great weekend, everyone.